Hello, everybody. This is the Salon Doctor, your favorite old man. Listen, here to talk to you about something very, very important. And it's particularly important, I think, going into this year. We have so much business that's going to be coming in. This is going to be a big year for tanning salons. And the question is, what do we do about pricing? There's been so much conversation about easy on, easy off versus traditional pricing, whatever. So I'm going to show you some things here that you should consider because easy on, easy off has its pluses and its minuses, whatever, as does traditional pricing. But I'm also going to show you what I call a hybrid model, and I have developed that now with I must the last 15 or 20 clients that we did a hybrid model, and it seems to be working quite well. So let's talk about this a little bit now. Uh, first of all, before I go on any farther, I want to show you up here, there's a QR code. And if you're looking for a consultation with me, excuse me, a 1 hour consultation costs you nothing, whatever. You can hit that QR code, come over to my website, and you can sign up for a consultation. I will tell you that right now, it's a little crazy. So we'll try to get you in as fast as we can, but it is a little crazy right now. And there's also another link. You can do the same thing right there. So let's talk about this subject here. Um, I love that spring. Okay. So for peak season, easy on, easy off. There seems to be this great rush to, well, let's do easy on, easy off. What we'll do is we'll do a very expensive price on a single tan. We'll do a $69.99 on a all access and maybe $100 on all access plus spray, whatever. But you end up that there's usually only 3 or 4 prices. One of the prices that sometimes the retailers use is a real cheap price, 29 or 39.95 for entry level beds. And it's great if people want to sleep in them. Now, the positive to that is if people do take that, you've maybe got some opportunities to upsell them to a higher level. But easy on, easy off is not a panacea for all the problems you may have or the desires you have to move your business forward. In some markets, it works. In markets with high socioeconomic households, or in markets where the retailer has invested a lot of money and some of the most upgraded equipment from the bed manufacturing people, or you've got a lot of spa equipment and a lot of wellness you've invested in, whatever, it can work. The object for that, by buying, investing, all that stuff, the people that are preaching about easy on, easy off is that the assumption with all those extra goodies you've got will get the tanner into and beyond Jason. I will tell you, that has not been proved to me yet. I think easy on, easy off has potential, but I'm not convinced yet if it entirely works. So for this peak season, with all of the tanners coming back to tan, I think the best thing to do is look at a hybrid plan. So we'll get into this here in just a second. So let's talk about the careful consideration for tanning package pricing because it makes all the difference in the world. If you see down here on my um, cursor, you see the goal with any pricing is to increase top line PCA revenues. So per customer investment from the unique customers, there was a time back prior to COVID when we were having per customer averages of 120, 130, $140. But everything has changed now over the last 5, 6 years. We're going to finish in 2024 with our system, our network. We're probably going to be in the high 200s. We're going to have some people in the 300s. And so that's possibly because of the equipment, but it's also because, and I'd like to take some pride with this, we've shown people how to sell more EFTs, how to sell more, sell them longer, and at higher durations. So when you're thinking about this easy on, it is not that simple. It seems like it's simple. And I'll get into the pluses and minuses here in a minute, but and I want to say don't drink that Kool-Aid because I tell you, think before you drink. Uh, everybody's not everybody, but a lot of people are rushing to it thinking that it's the end all, and it's not. But let's go back down to talk about PCA for a second. your goal is to understand your numbers. If you're going to, whatever pricing policy you're going to do, you have got to know your numbers. And this is the first thing I do when a client comes to me. I take a look at all their numbers. I analyze them. I go over them in great detail to come up with something that not only holds on to some customers we have, but gets us way beyond that. It helps develop more uniques, more TANs, um, more EFTs sold at higher levels and longer durations. And you have to consider that in 2025, people are just begging to sell money on uh, indulgence. So you want to review your 2024 sales and focus on these key areas. I look at EFT unit sales. I look at EFT durations. I look at EFT's level of services that the average is, and that comes down to your average draw that you're looking at. Again, sell more at higher levels and longer durations. And of course, lotion sales. Lotion sales are an interesting observation for me because when I see low lotion sales, it makes me wonder how much real selling is being done. There was a time when we would see people with a lotion sales per average tan of maybe $1. But again, in our system, we're going to hit probably 280, 290 for 2024. And I think it'll go above that. The reason I say that is because as the industry has added some of these new KBLs and these new Ergoline equipment that really is very seductive to tanners, they're investing more money in the tanning experience and investing more money in lotions. But a big part of it is we have to have somebody that's selling it. Get to that in a minute. All right, so let's analyze those sales numbers. EFT, your percent of sales, your percent of your total revenues for us for 2023 was 59%. I'm going to guess that for 2024, when we get all the numbers, it's going to be more like 60 or 61%. The average draw, $69 to $92. Now, that $69, coincidentally, it's the same that some of the easy on people want to charge, $69.99, whatever. But that draw is going up, and the draw makes a big difference. When I see somebody comes into us, and they have an average draw, I just had one yesterday, they had an average draw of $47. And I look at that and I say, geez, this is at least 12 or 13 bucks more you can get on your average draw. And then you take and you look at that times the number of draws, all of a sudden, wow, here's a whole fistful of money I didn't know that we had if you get people up to those levels. But that's where the pricing comes in. It's got to be seductive. It's got to get people to want to tan on those levels. See the lotion revenues per tan, $2 to $2.75. Again, I think 2024 we're going to be at 280, 290, and it just keeps going up all the time. Number of unique tanners. Now, this is a real important thing. Number of unique tanners. Over the last couple of years, I'm not sure that we've gained a lot. We've gained some, but I'm going to guess we've maybe gained between 5 and 10% of unique tanners. And maybe in those cases where we've added these incredible beds that look like something from Mars, maybe it's generated some more tanners to come out there. But inflation hurt us a little bit. So I think the key on getting more unique tanners is, as I've got in here, marketing. That's the key. Now, the other thing is it's important to look at your number of tans per unique. Our system's 34.9. And coincidentally, that's exactly what Mike Bloor in California Tan has got out there. It's the exact same thing that a lot of people that are big hitters in this business have, around 35 tans per unique. And it's amazing some of the clients that have come into us in the last 30 to 60 days that have the number of tans per unique at like 9 tans or 10 or 11 tans. Even when you get into easy on, easy off, they're going to say that, well, we don't care if they only tan 12 or 14 times for the year because we're going to keep them through Jason with spa and wellness equipment. I'm going to get into that craziness in just a moment here. So average customer or average closing sell average EFT selling close rate, about 1.5% to 3.8%. Now that sounds like a low funky number, but it's because you're taking the number of EFTs that you sell and divided by the number of tans. And what happens is you've got a lot of tans that come in where people already have an EFT. There's some software like TanLink, it's a whole different ballgame to look at it. But the important thing of that number, if you have a person that works for you and their close rate is 2 or 2.5%, and everybody else is 1%, that person at 2.5% may know something about pattern or presentation that the other people don't. And that's a great thing to share with the rest of your employees. Because when you start getting up in the 3+ here, you're closing, relatively speaking, a lot of EFTs. Look at your average customer, PCA we call it. So we're going to come in from 2024. I think we're going to have a low of 191 and a high of about 290. However, I don't have all the numbers, and I'm guessing that we're going to have some that are going to be well into the 300s. Payroll percentage of total revenues, 25 to 40%. This is way too high, and this is now what it's looking like as an average of 28%. Here's the thing: if you want to get your payroll percentage down, then lift up your top line. You can amortize the cost of payroll over larger dollars. And that's what happens a lot of times. People look at that and they say, well, let's say they're at 34 or 35%. At a chain client here last year, they were at 34%. And I said to them, I said, one of the reasons is because you're underselling. And so now they've added, oh my gosh, I think it's another 125 or $130,000 per store with 6 stores. And when you start adding that to the top line, all of a sudden your payroll percentage goes down. It's a number that we have to be careful of, because if you look at it and you think I'm too high, so maybe I could hire somebody at $12 an hour. Guys, I got to tell you, equipment's great. It is. Location's great. Ambience great. Build out is great. Wonderful. All wonderful. Somebody still has to sell it. And our client, our tanner, comes in looking for an experience with what they're investing in time and money. And part of that experience, part of that satisfaction starts right there at the front counter. So there's a lot of retail services, and I've told people about my experience with Howard Schultz, the CEO, ex-CEO of Starbucks. I guess he'll probably come back. I don't know. I had lunch with him about 5 years ago at another trade show. And I said to him, I said, Howard, why don't you have an EFT on triple lattes, uranium 235 drinks, whatever that you're charging $8 or $8.50 for? He said, no, I don't want an EFT because I don't want people thinking about how much they're spending per month. Because your average impulsive Starbucks coffee drinker might be getting 2 or 3 of these a week, and that money really adds up. But they're getting it because at the time they're just looking at that $8.50. So it's impulsive. This is going to cost me $8.50. I need it right now. I'm going to take it. Keep this in mind. When we do the pricing correctly, you want people to see what the price per tan is. There, where our business is so different from Starbucks, but there we have the same impulsive track. When people look at those prices are getting lower, well, I can get in this in your top bid, and it's only going to cost me $5.20 a tan, whatever, I'm making up that number. And that really makes a big difference. Okay, so remember, we're a top line business. Our fixed costs are horrible, but per tan is cheap. Okay, let's move on here. Talking about easy on, easy off. Okay, easy on, easy off. If you're going to adopt that, it's a fast sign up, true. It's impulsive for Tanner and the sales associate because you only got 3 or 4 options at the most. So they can just say, here's what we've got for an option. It's kind of like a take it or leave it. I have people that are on, easy off that will say, well, it is kind of take it or leave it. Have to be very careful with that because you have a strata of tanners that's willing to invest some big money in their tanning. You also have a strata of tanners that don't want to invest that much money, are happy with a mediocre bed and maybe even entry level bed or whatever, or not tanning that often or whatever. So got to be very careful with that. So, but easy on, easy off, or EO, I'll call it, can produce higher revenues if the tanner stays on for more than 6 months. No question. If you have a 70, or let's just call it 70 instead of 69.90 now, let's round up. If you have a $70 all access on Easy On, and the person stays on 6 months, that's $420 plus at least probably $300 in lotions. you're home. That's great. That's terrific. What I've seen though in several clients that have been on it, I have one lady for sure with the salon that will talk to anybody about that she almost went out of business. This is after COVID when she had an easy on, easy off, and it just killed her because of the cancellations. I have a four salon chain. I won't tell you where, whatever, but when I look at their numbers, about 20% of their EFTs sold on Easy On had people staying on an average of about 10 months. That's fantastic. But they also had about 25% of people that were staying on only 3 months. And they had an enormous number of cancels. So when you add it all together, they're not getting 6 months out of it. They're getting maybe 4.5 or 5 months. So you can still make some money on that, but there's probably a better way to do it, and that's the hybrid program I'm going to show you. Okay, easy on, easy off is simple to explain. It's simple to explain to the customer, pretty simple to explain to the sales associate. It's just all the access of services. If that's an attractive feature, requires less associate training. Here's what it is, gang. It's really what it's doing with Easy On. It's taking away their the advantage we have in our business for selling and upselling because you're just presenting this is one package, take it or leave it. Um, and what we just see is that associates will get lazy and they'll say, and this is crazy, but it happens when management puts some pressure on sales associate to sell a certain number of VFTs. They're going to get up there at the counter with the customer, and they say da 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 da. You get to use all of this, whatever, and because they want to make sure that they sign up. And by the way, you can cancel anytime you want. And yes, it's true they can cancel anytime they want, but we shouldn't be selling that. I mean, if they ask, if they say, well, do I have to agree to certain months or a year and a half or whatever? No, no, no. That's you can cancel anytime you want. Okay, less associate training. It may require a need for better new candidates, um, just because you're going to need people a little bit more savvy, particularly if you want them to be upselling. Okay, so it may provide EFT revenue without high TAN counts, which just blows my mind that the people that are doing it say, well, if I only get 12 or 14 TANs for the year, I don't get that because we want people tanning more. We want them to come in. We want more TANs, more visits, more opportunities to sell them. So let's talk about the hybrid. So easy on, easy off assumes large investments for new equipment. So it assumes that you're going to put in a garbage load of money into upgrading your UV, your spray, your wellness, your spa, whatever. If you can do it, terrific. For one, I don't believe that people are going to stay in the Jason months just because you have spa and wellness. They might. Now, red light's kind of a year-round thing, and they may be some that will stay. But in the middle of summer, when you could fry an egg on the sidewalk, I'm not sure how much people are thinking about going in not only for UV tanning, but for also wellness and spa. Now, there's exceptions. That's just my belief. Looking at numbers, it doesn't tell me that they're going to be going in that much. But traditional traditional pricing connects with the tanner with more involved associate exchanges and upselling. When you have a traditional where you're saying, okay, you've got a 3 month or a 6 month agreement option, agreement, not contract, that's a dirty word. But when you're saying that you've got a 3 or 6 month option, that sales associate has got a lot of exchange with the tanner, and it gives us opportunities for upselling. If somebody buys a 3 month on one level, and you're looking at the software, and this is a key for the sales associates, you're looking at the software, you're seeing with that tanner what level they're tanning in right now, how long they've been on it. And if they're on a lower level and you ask that wonderfully rhetorical question, are you getting as dark as you want? And they say, well, no, I'd like, well, here, let me show you something else. Oh, I really like that bed. That really looks great. Yeah, the 6 month is only this much more per tan. I was talking about Starbucks and the coffee, and that they look at it's only $8 for this triple latte, whatever. That's what we need to do too. We need to have people focused on the per tan average. So traditional, our research has shown, and this is a typo here, but 3 months is normally 5.5 months, 6 months is 7.5 months. And that doesn't mean that some don't go beyond that. Yes, we have some people that will go on those EFTs for years. But I look at averages. I don't like to look at the anomalies. Okay, traditional makes more money in the first 4 or 5 months because it's predictable. Easy on, easy off has higher plus and earlier cancellations. Easy on, easy off theory depends on tanners valuing wellness and off peak. Talked about that. And something that Mike Bloor at the expo in Nashville last November said, and I've heard this before from owners of Time Fitness and Planet Fitness, whatever, that everybody that signs up, all the people that sign up for fitness for January, they want to be new me, whatever. 90% of them don't use the gym past February. So why do we think if we've got some stuff that is wellness or spa, which is not exactly the same as working out, but why do we think that they're going to favor us? You've got some fitness centers that are putting in red light. What differentiates us? Why? What can differentiate us is engaged salespeople, but you can't give them the kind of money, the kind of bonuses that you can give them when you're on, easy off. So this is what I said: easy on, easy off will not pay high selling bonuses because if your easy on, easy off is at $69.99, whatever, how much are you going to pay your employee for selling that? Most people that are on it are paying like between $3 and $5. That's not going to keep employees happy. It's not going to keep them for wanting to upsell. You're going to get people there that, okay, I'll take the job. And then when you're out of sight, boss man, boss lady, I'll be doing my homework. I'll talk to my boyfriend, whatever. We need to get serious in this business about how important the associate is. Every bit as important as the equipment. The equipment can't sell itself. It certainly can't sell the tanner on bonding to your salon. The first bonding experience is the people behind the counter. If you got people that don't give a rat's ass about tanning that work for you, get rid of them. We will never be able to pay as much as somebody wants to make that just their only goal is to make a lot of money. If that's what they want to do, they can work at Amazon. No problem. What we want as an associate, we want a person that loves the idea of working in an indulgence industry. They like the good feeling it has for seeing somebody come in the door and doing something for their self-esteem. That's powerful. They also maybe get a decent beginning wage, hourly wage, but they can see where they can make a garbage load of money and incentives. And I'm going to show you here a sample of that in just a minute. Okay, so let's get to that, the hybrid model. Let's talk about that. So pricing would show a cheaper price per month in tan rate for the traditional agreement versus a higher rate for EOEO. The tanner can opt for the desire to not commit to any length of time if they want to stay on the easy on, or they can get cheaper tanning. I'll show you how that works. Traditional makes more money in the first 4 to 5 months because it's predictable. Doesn't sell high. Okay, we talked about that. So let me get to what you're seeing here is a pricing grid with every customer, which now we've dealt with. I think we're up to 648 salon owners since 1991. So we've done a lot of these. I always do a grid. This grid has got a lot of numbers on it. Your pricing, when we get through with it with graphics and everything, won't look like that. But here's what it'll include. It'll include, and usually I'll start out with a real expensive single tan. And I had a multi-salon owner yesterday just say to me, well, I don't want to honk off my single tan tanners. And my reaction to that is every time that somebody brings that up, I'd say, I don't care about single tanners, particularly going into the peak season. They're not our customer. I mean, you get a few bucks from them, it's a big deal. Where you're getting your money, remember, our business is king is UV, spray is queen, and red lights coming up as a nice courtier, right? So, but in that UV is king, EFT is definitely king. So what we do is we put this price up there as just a beginning price. And then we can show them that going vertically, as they commit to longer terms of tanning, their price gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Again, Starbucks, right? It gets down to if $8.50 is an impulse for Starbucks, what happens to us when we're showing on this is a hybrid here, what we call the best value, where they have to agree to at least 5 months. They're going to be tanning in this level, probably some high pressure equipment here, nice bells and whistles. They're only going to be paying $4 a tan. That's what people focus on. When you get your sales associates, when you get them trained to just automatically, when someone comes in and they look at first you got to look at the history, see where that person's at. Maybe they're not a tanner yet. But when you're talking about after you've done your skin typing and you're making a recommendation based on how long they want to tan and what they're tanning for, and you make a recommendation on the equipment. By the way, that person, remember, that sales associate, the recommendation is gold. Because somebody comes in, particularly, by the way, if your associates have got color, they're not white like me, right? So if they've got color, they're a great recommendation just breathing. So if they say, I think you should be in this bed, and we'll call this at the darkest level, and they look at that and they say, well, my gosh, this is kind of expensive. Wait a minute. Boy, this is pretty cheap. I'm telling you guys, it's magic. EFTs have to be sold, but it's a different sale. Selling lotions is a more intimate sale. You have more involvement with the client because it's touch, feel, smell, price, whatever. You get to EFTs. If you do the EFTs right, it's kind of right there in front of them. And I got to tell you, we did this, not the hybrid, we did the traditional 3 and 6 month, but we raised the bonuses dramatically on a chain in Oklahoma called Sandy Beaches. Sandy Beaches turned into glow tanning. The EFTs we sold were just outrageous because we were paying what people would consider be outrageous bonuses. So here, let's look at some of them. So let's say that you go with a hybrid. You got an easy on, easy off. We'll go to this darkest level here, whatever, and you're charging $70. So what are you going to pay the employee? Typically, it's $4, for that, whatever. Of course, they wouldn't have the other levels. They just have one level, $70. Well, they have a second one that'd be 100 or whatever. So you're paying them $4. How how much motivation are these people today going to get for going through and getting $4? What they're going to do is they're going to want to, particularly in peak when you got a lot of people coming in, they're going to want to go through people as fast as they can, like the drive-up window at Wendy's, because they're only getting $4 on. And blah, 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 when you get to use this equipment, you can cancel anytime, sign here. Guys, we're missing the boat if that's what we do. So 5 months, this is on what we call the rewards program, which is my hybrid. So we see the prices. Look at here. It's $10 cheaper. It's cheaper per tan. And then on the extra goodies that we put in there, we load it up with spa sessions. We maybe give, if you first time you signed up, when you first sign up, you get maybe 50% off your first lotion, then maybe 25% each time you buy a lotion, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different things. We, I'd say almost every salon that we do, none of them are exactly like the one before it or the one in front of it, whatever. We custom it to your business, to your clients, to your customers, your tanners. But look at what you're paying here. And this, you get down here, look at what you're collecting. They stay 5 months. You're collecting $300 on the fees, and it's a very conservative 250. In 2023, our average bottle that we sold was $83. Don't know the average yet for 2024. But I said, I'll just be conservative. I'll just say it's $50 a month, 5 months, 250. $550. Would I pay somebody $25 to sell a package for $550? Oh, yeah, every day. That's where the money is. So hybrid, I strongly recommend that before you go and you jump into easy on, easy off, get on my website, get on that that QR code that I showed you earlier. I should have had another one here at the end of this. Get on that QR code, sign up for a free consultation. I'll look at your numbers. I'll do an analysis on it. I will tell you what my projection is that you're going to do in 2025, even with the equipment that you've currently got right now. Everybody's rushing around. John, I got my salon did 250,000 last year. How am I going to do 500,000? Like maybe somebody out in California said I could do, without buying new equipment. You can't. But your 250,000 might be 350,000. Matter of fact, I got to tell you, the last 12 clients that I've dealt with, and each one, we have a projection of adding about $100,000 in 2025, and that might be conservative, might do more than that. Okay, so I wanted to go through this with you because don't drink the Kool-Aid until you've got the rest of this information. I understand people's reluctance on the traditional because maybe they say people don't want to stay 6 months or whatever, and I understand the desire to just be simple, whatever, with the easy on, easy off. The hybrid gives you best of both worlds. And really, when it comes all down to it, do we care if they sign up at an easy on, easy off, or they sign up at the rewards? We'd probably rather have them at the rewards if they're going to stay 6 or 7 months. But if they're also going to stay 6 or 7 months in easy on, easy off, I'd rather have them stay there because I'm making more money. Either way, either way, you're satisfying the possibilities of EFT selling. We need to sell more, higher levels, longer durations, and that's going to drag your lotion sales along. It's going to make your employees happier because they're making bank, particularly now through June. So, folks, I just want to help you. And I tell you, I can't tell you enough that we need to get away from the 30-second syndrome. And the best prescription for that is engaging salon rock stars. You can get, with low or no cost killer incentives sometimes. Because when I say low or no cost, it's no cost to you because it's coming out of incremental sales that you're making. That's the biggie. As a matter of fact, we have a special program just for the manager. So, thanks for listening. And here, by the way, here's that QR code again. And there's a couple of different links on here. You can come in and sign up, and we'll get you into an analysis as quickly as we can. There's my little ad. All work and no play. See, I keep telling people at the end of peak season 2025, wouldn't you like to go to the Bahamas? I've been there. It's great. Freeport or I forget the other one. Anyway, love it. Hey, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. You have yourself a good day, and just get a hold of me. Time is tight. It is. It's running out, but we can get you set up, and you can salvage the rest of peak and the rest of 2025. Thanks for listening.